Welcome to the Munro Review. We're at the Warner's Theater. Welcome to the Munro Review, where it's all about connecting, sharing, and valuing the arts in the central San Joaquin Valley. I'm Donald Munro. Today is April 22nd, and I am not coming to you from the CMAC studio in downtown Fresno. We are actually in the lobby of the Warner's Theater, and we're going to be looking at the set that's going to be used in the Chanticleer Shakespeare Company production of The Tempest. So yes, we are celebrating the second season of Fresno's professional Shakespeare Company with a special episode. The show opens Friday, April 24th and continues through May 3rd. We're going to be learning more about the production in our show today, including a talk with the director and the company's artistic director. We also have some non-Shakespeare guests. Michael Krikorian is here from Keyboard Concerts to talk about classical piano, and Manjot Danda, who has been working at the Munro Review as an intern this semester, is going to share some of the favorite stories she's worked on and also let you know about a couple of new theater productions coming in May. First, let's take a look at some of what we've been covering on MunroReview.com. Measure P is always in the news these days, it seems, and not necessarily for the right reasons. Our expert Measure P reporter Doug Hoagland has been covering this city sales tax story for years. He's also been filling you in recently on the stunning news that a Fresno Arts Council employee stole $1.5 million of city money that was supposed to go to artists. This is a story that needs updating almost on a weekly basis, and Doug has been working hard on the latest. The most recent news includes the guilty plea of the embezzler and the steps that the city's Parks, Recreation, and Arts Commission is taking to revamp the entire grants program. The Arts Council is out and the city is in. It's hiring 3 employees to take over. And as you can imagine, changes can mean controversies. One of the latest is a proposal to limit the number of for-profit artists that can be fiscally sponsored by nonprofit organizations. That could impact organizations like Dulce Up Front, which sponsored dozens of artists in the last round of Measure P grants. One thing that Doug learned is that Dulce itself might get out of the fiscal sponsorship game altogether. He will keep you updated. We've published lots of stories since our last CMAC show, and I invite you to the website to read them. They include reviews and previews by Heather Parrish of Good Company players Buddy Holly's story at Rajaraka's and Cyrano de Bergerac at the Second Space Theater. Haley Milicic, another TMR intern, wrote about the Hearts on Fire Rock and Roll Choir. And we've got some great coverage by Doug about how some of the city's most notable poets are protesting the Iran war. And we even have a movie review of the big hit Project Hail Mary. Now, let's get to our first guest. Michael Krikorian is here to tell us about Keyboard Concerts and its upcoming season, and also the upcoming final concert featuring the world-renowned pianist Sergei Babayan. Welcome, Michael. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Donald. Thank you for having me on the show.
What do you think?
It's an honor.
What do you think of this place? It's
incredible.
Pretty amazing,
it's
right?
An incredible theater.
It's amazing how ornate they built buildings.
How old is this theater? If
opened,
you know.
I believe, the late 20s.
Okay.
I'll have to have my fact checkers jump on that.
Yeah.
So you have a very interesting keyboard story to tell. How old were you when you went to your first keyboard concert?
I was 12 years old, and this was shortly after I started taking piano lessons.
And that was a significant experience.
It was.
For you. What do you remember about that?
So my teacher, Andreas Feritz, who is the artistic director of the Keyboard Concert series, invited me to attend this concert. The performer was Eric Brailsford, who was one of his former students. I think he was 18 years old at the time, so not that much older than me. I was blown away. It was a very inspiring experience, and it was that experience which made me want to be a pianist. In fact, after seeing the concert, I told my parents, you know, I think I want to be a concert pianist.
That's what I want to do.
That's what I want to do.
Well, that's wonderful. Now you are a professor of piano at Fresno State. You are an accomplished solo pianist of your own, and you're involved with keyboard. And why did you make that choice when you came back to Fresno State to get involved again with keyboard?
With the keyboard concert series? Because it's a cultural institution in the Central Valley. The keyboard concert series, I believe, enriches our community, and it does so by bringing these great artists of global renown to perform in our concert hall at Fresno State, at the Fresno State School of Music, and the community is all the better because of that. We get to experience artistry of the highest caliber, and it's just an amazing thing to have that here.
Now, I want to talk about a couple of things. One is the last concert of the season, the final concert of the season, which is going to be on Sunday, April 26th. And that features a very familiar name for keyboard audiences.
Yes.
Sergei Babayan.
Yes.
How many times has he been to Fresno?
He's been to Fresno several times. This is maybe his 4th or 5th appearance in the keyboard concert series, but he's also performed with the Fresno Philharmonic several times. So I couldn't give you an actual number because I don't know.
He's come so many
times
that we have lost count. Now, if you were to go to Europe, to New York, you say his name, piano fans are going to say, wow.
Oh, absolutely. Everybody knows Sergei Babayan.
Why do you think he likes coming back to Fresno?
Well, I think we do have a large Armenian community here. And Sergei is one of the great Armenian pianists, one of the great living Armenian pianists. And so he's coming here to an enthusiastic audience. He has fans, and he gets to perform in a venue that is very intimate compared to some of these larger venues that he's performing at. And to get to share his music making and his artistry with this very enthusiastic community of people here in that intimate setting, I think is something that is very special.
You can literally sit so close to the pianist,
Yes.
the performer, that you can see the sweat, you can see the passion in their eyes, you can see all of the stuff that probably most other people don't get to see in a concert like that.
That's right. And you know, there are some concerts where we have those extra chairs near the front of the piano. And I remember back when I was a student, Sergei's former student, Daniel Trifonov, came, and I was sitting maybe 6 feet from the piano. And to have that vantage point and to get to see that up close was incredible.
It's really a treat.
It really is, yeah.
So for this particular concert, he's actually going to be playing a lot of different pieces.
Yes.
Tell us about a couple of them.
I can't remember ever having this kind of program in the series. It's very unique. There are 18 composers listed in total, and it's all song transcriptions, covering a very broad range of styles and time periods. There's Schubert, Schumann, Liszt. There's also Hindemith, Poulenc, Komitas. These are song transcriptions, meaning they're works not originally composed for solo piano, but for piano and voice, and arranged so that one can play them as a soloist on the piano. That means that the pianist is playing both the piano part and the voice part integrated, but reworked so that it is idiomatic and fits well under the hands.
Sounds like a great concert.
Oh, yes.
You've already been planning next season. Can you give us a sneak preview?
Sure. Well, for next season, Andreas Verts, our artistic director, has done it again. because he has put together an incredible roster of artists that is a good mix of established artists and up-and-comers. The season will open with Vitaly Starikov, who was the silver medalist at the recent Van Cliburn competition. We also have, returning to the series, Jeremy Dank, Nikolai Lugansky, Marc-Andre Hamelin. So it is a fully stacked season, and we are very, very excited.
I think it really says something about the series that you have all these people who want to come back. Mm-hmm. They return. I mean, that is pretty much the highest compliment.
Yeah. I think they enjoy their experience here. They enjoy the intimacy of our concert hall. They enjoy the enthusiasm of our audience here. And I hope that these artists will continue to return for many years to come.
Well, great. Tell us one more time, when is Sergei's concert and where is it?
He will be playing on Sunday, April 26th at 3 p.m. in the concert hall at the Fresno State School of Music.
And you don't even have to worry about parking.
Parking is relaxed.
Because it's a Sunday.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Michael.
Thank you, Donald.
I appreciate it. Coming up next, Manjot Danda is here to talk about some of her favorite TMR stories. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Manjot Danda is here to talk about some of her favorite TMR stories she's worked on this past semester. And she's going to give you an update on theater in May. Thank you for being here, Manjot.
Thank you for having me.
I guess you kind of had to be here in a way because I'm your internship supervisor, right?
Yeah, it was the boss telling me what to do.
Yeah. But you and another intern, Haley Milicic, have just been having a blast this semester writing about all sorts of stories for the Munro Review. So I wanted to have you on just to kind of give you the experience of being on the show and also reminding people of some of the great stuff that's out there.
Yeah, I had a blast doing all the stuff that I did. There were so many opportunities that I would never have had if I had not been an intern for the Munro Review, so I'm very thankful for them. One of my favorites that I probably did was the Philharmonic that I attended. I had never attended anything like that. It was super inspiring and I was grateful to have the experience. It was music like I had never heard it before, like entrancing and just whimsical, and the flautist that was playing was incredible.
And this was the final concert of the Philharmonic season, and they had, yes, a very well-known, I looked it up and I think we say flutist in America. I'm not sure, flautist, but Damare McGill, and I got the chance to interview him before the concert, but I didn't get to see the concert, and you got to see it. What was it like?
Yeah, Damare Gill, he was incredible. He was so entranced with the crowd. You could tell that the crowd was loving him. He was loving us. He performed with such soul and such musical passion that I was someone who doesn't really know the flute. I wanted to know the flute. And it was they closed their season of the master works for the Philharmonic, and it was a really great way to end the season.
Well, I'm really glad you got a chance to see that. I'm always telling people that experiencing live music, actually experiencing live anything, is what the arts is all about. Mm-hmm. You get to be there in the moment. So what's another favorite story?
My second favorite story would probably be Fresno City's I and You that they put on March 19th through the 25th.
And that was a theater production?
Yes, that was a theater production.
Okay.
I went into that completely blind. I had no idea what the story was about, and it just captivated me from the second I stepped in. The theater space was small, but they used it beautifully. The story was intimate, funny. They interacted with the audience, and then at the end it was devastating. And it was just this roller coaster of emotion that I didn't know I needed to feel on a Wednesday night, but I did. And the ending left you with almost uncertainty, but it was in a way where you knew what happened, but there's so much that could have happened. And I think that's one theater production that you should go into blind and then just feel. Just go in and feel.
There's something to be said for not knowing what's going to happen.
Yes.
Right? We are given so much of the plot these days for the movies that we watch that it can be hard to be surprised.
Yeah, that one definitely surprised me. It started off funny, lighthearted, it had some deeper meaning, deeper tones, and at the end, I was left with all the emotions and no emotions all at once, and it was something that I think they did beautifully, especially at a college level.
Anything else? I know you got to see the musical Six.
Yes.
Children's Musical Theater Works. And then again, that was a big surprise for you. It was a teenage cast.
Yeah, Six was, I also went into Six completely blind. I had some idea of what it was, but I didn't know that it was going to be a musical of that style. I thought it was going to be more of a history lesson, and it was definitely not. It was children's musical theater, and it was incredible. I could not tell that some of these girls were 13, 14. They performed beautifully, and their costume design, again, the space was small, and they used it perfectly. They were entrapped by the audience. They kind of broke the fourth wall during times, which I really like when performances do that. And that one was another one that I went in blind, and I think I don't think many people can go in blind, because I think I was one of the few people that didn't know what it was, but if you can, you definitely should.
Yeah, Six is one of those really popular titles, but you're right, it's amazing to see what these young performers can do, how mature they are, how much stage presence they have. The
voices on some of these girls, I forgot they were 13, 14, 15. They sounded just so full and natural. It was amazing.
There is such talent, so much talent. You're going to tell us a little bit about what's coming up in May, a couple of shows theater-wise.
Yes. So the Selma Arts Theater is putting on Grease from May 22nd to June 13. And as someone who just saw the one play that goes wrong, something along those lines, I forgot the full title, it's a long title.
That Selma did, which you also really
which
liked.
I saw. The theater is awesome, and it's a really great location, and I would definitely, that's something that I'm gonna check out. And then Mrs. Doubtfire is coming to the Soroyan Theater on May 26th through 27, and that's another fun one that I think a lot of people are gonna enjoy.
And that's a Broadway and Fresno production, and yes, they made a musical of Mrs. Doubtfire, the movie. Some people don't believe me when I tell them that, but it is something that just played on Broadway a couple of years ago. So I have to ask, does your generation still watch Grease, the movie?
I think we've seen Grease, whether it just be from like clips and Instagram reels, TikTok videos. I don't know if I've personally seen Grease the whole way, but I definitely will before going to the Selma Arts Theater, because they did amazing, so I'm sure they're gonna do awesome.
It has music that is just great. People just will walk out, I'm sure, humming those tunes.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, Manjot, thank you for stopping by and telling us about it. I did want to telling us about your internship. I did want to bring up one other story that both you and Haley wrote. You got a chance to go together to the Museum of Modern Art in San Francisco. Give us a sneak preview of that story.
That museum was awesome just as itself, and they were running the Family Cause Museum exhibit, and it was...
So the artist is actually named Cause.
Yes.
K-A-W-S.
Yeah.
Interesting guy, right?
Interesting guy. We went in knowing a little bit about it. We knew that they had this special modern art kind of graffiti style artist, but we didn't know much. And going into it, it was incredible. It was comforting, disturbing, nostalgic, creepy, everything good and everything bad in one area. You felt like you were home, but something was definitely wrong.
Yeah, he would take, and you recognize things like, oh, they're the Simpsons, but they're sort of warped, distorted. And he also did these wild things like steal advertisement posters from like bus stops and then redo them and put them back in.
Yeah, he's definitely a funky guy.
So it's like this guerrilla sort of art thing that's going on.
Yeah, and a lot of the pieces were just so, like, you wanted to keep looking, but you wanted to also look away. it's definitely an exhibit that I think everyone needs to see at least once. And it's here in San Francisco, so it's definitely something that is accessible for people, especially in the Central Valley.
Well, it was a lot of fun taking both of you to that museum and kind of seeing it through your first time eyes. So it was great fun for me as well. Well, thank you for coming, Manjot. You probably have another story to go write.
Well, thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. When we come back, the focus will be on Chanticleer and the Tempest. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Within the local theater scene, one cause for celebration is the Chanticleer Theater Company, Fresno's only professional theater company. And everyone is buzzing about the new production of The Tempest, which is starring a Fresno native daughter, Jacqueline Antaramian, and she's taken a break from her career in Hollywood and on Broadway to star in this show. We welcome Artistic Director Blake Ellis and Executive Director Brandon Weiss. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
We were just talking about like how many hats you wear. So you are also directing the show.
I am.
And you are also
I'm in it.
in the show.
Yeah.
So you probably have to keep telling yourself when you get up in the morning which
Yes.
well, you're going to do.
There's a little bit of a reality check when you start your day. You're like, what am I supposed to do today? Oh yeah, it's all of these different items. Yes,
So
exactly.
first of all, thank you for having us here. It is so fun to hang out in this wonderful building. And I just actually wanted to start off asking you guys, what is it like to work in the Warners?
Well, it's our second season here, and from even before we started our first season, Nicole Owens, who's the executive director of the Warner Center for the Performing Arts, she sort of set the precedent of saying we want to be the home of Chanticleer Shakespeare Company. And that's a huge feather in our cap because this is sort of the gem of the valley. I mean, it's almost a 100-year-old building built by Alexander Pantages. It's one of the few remaining Pantages theaters. It's absolutely gorgeous. And when you think about the energy of all of the people who tread the boards on that stage in this theater for the last 98 years, I feel like that spirit and that energy really carries everything else that gets produced here. So we're the beneficiaries of that.
There's also a weight to it when you stand on that stage and look out to 2,300 seats or 2,200 seats, whatever it is. It commands a level of performance out of you as an actor, and then as a director, I'm certain that it's probably pretty daunting.
There's a weight on your shoulders to meet the demand and to deliver the best possible product to this audience, because I believe Fresno deserves the best possible theater product that we can deliver.
So before we get to the actual Tempest, I wanted to throw in the thing that everybody's talking about. I mentioned it earlier in the show, Measure P. What do you think, what does this production mean in terms of trying to overcome some of the bad feelings about Measure P?
I'll let you take that.
Yeah, I think, you know, when we all got the news that daunting day, I think there was a genuine concern out of a lot of individuals and a lot of organizations as to, are my funds there? Am I ever going to see these funds ever again? And what does the future of Measure P look like too? And for us, that was really kind of where our brains went initially was, okay, what does the future look like? How do we scale whatever the future is based on, you know, what if Measure P doesn't exist? And we've always kind of acted under the mentality of these are not guaranteed funds. Mm-hmm. Just because we like what we're doing and we think that it's great for the city, it doesn't mean that those that are doing the panels are going to agree that this is, you know, worthy of that funding. So we never try to assume that we are going to be benefactors of that. We've always acted as we have a responsibility to our company to raise the money to do what we need to do, with or without those funds. Obviously, we prefer with.
Yeah.
I think as a company too, when that happened, we kind of banded together as a group, us and our technical director, Brandy Martin, and just kind of came to the consensus of, hey, this is business as usual for us. We know that we have an objective that we have set out to accomplish. We've already got actors signed up and contracts are signed and actors' equity is all in line. So now we have a responsibility to figure out how do we get to that next level. And part of that is banding together with those that are in the same boat. And Blake, you said this a little bit earlier that, you know, great art isn't always made in easy times, it's made in times of trial. And I think that's certainly the case for us here, where that's really one of the times where we reached out to Stephen. Sorry,
Wilson.
my brain just, yeah, Wilson.
Stephen
sorry.
Wilson, yeah.
We have a lot of things that we're doing right now.
I hear you.
Stephen Wilson, the president and CEO of the Fresno Philharmonic, and he was lockstep with us in that direction as well. Of this is when we bind together. This is when we combine all of our efforts and our energies and all of our creative resources, and we just go all in on this because Fresno deserves it, whether or not that happened or not, which we know that it did. But whether that happened, it's not going to compromise what we are doing, what we're building, and what Fresno deserves.
Right. I think one of the most sort of heartening pieces of information that I can tell is that as soon as we got the news, we communicated internally and we communicated with Stephen Wilson, who we had already sort of begun the negotiations with regarding the Tempest. And we said, this is going to throw a wrench in the gears for a lot of organizations. And for some of them, especially smaller or less established organizations or things that perhaps aren't as ambitious as what we're doing, it might derail them entirely. And we are not going to allow that to happen. We have two major stakeholders we serve. It's our playwright, who we all want to make sure we're doing right by, and our audience. And it's this community. We want to serve them the best possible product. Yeah. And the way you do that is not by getting derailed by something like this. You push through that and you say, we are going to serve this audience the best way we can. And he was 100% behind that idea. We have banded together, like you said, we've pooled our resources to make sure that we can serve this audience something that's truly breathtaking. And when we get to that part of this interview, I think there's a lot I want to talk about. So you have to stop me at some point.
Okay. And just one other thought before we move on to the Tempest.
There's a bug in here.
There might be something good that comes of this as well. I know the city's already talking about maybe rethinking some of the criteria for awards. One of those, and one of the ideas being that if your organization gets a grant, then it should be funded at 100% of what you need.
And that's very unusual. It's very unusual.
Instead of the 30% that seemed to happen.
Yeah, and I will say that at one of the meetings, I did voice up about that because I think when you fund something at 30%, it really is difficult for them to see that project to fruition. Mm-hmm. And if we're really truly trying to create art and give that ability to bring art to life, 30% doesn't quite do that for some of these organizations. It hamstrings them from the beginning.
Exactly. And one of the things that we talked about earlier is it feels a little bit like dangling a carrot.
Yeah.
Because they've asked, or at least they had asked, organizations to map out a budget that was scalable and say, this is exactly what we need to produce this product. And if the panelists or whomever decide, well, we don't find that valuable, but we'll give you just enough to where you can't complete that, that's really difficult. I think it is unusual for grant-making organizations to offer 100% funding. They're usually looking for matching funds. But what this tells me is that the people at the city are deciding it's better to invest into the arts in this community than to allow something like this to derail us. And to me, it's a huge vote of confidence. And I think, when they look at the things that we are doing, they look at the things that other organizations are doing, and they see who's been good stewards of the money that has been delivered so far. I think it's going to put a lot of people at ease, considering that there are some pretty ambitious projects planned for Fresno in the future, and we'd love to see them come to fruition. The money's there, and we just have to figure out the best way to put it out.
So tell us more about this collaboration between the Philharmonic and Chanticleer.
Oh, well, I think you should talk about that because I think Stephen called you first.
He did. Yeah, it's been, it's actually kind of come together so easy, which is odd to think about because there's so many different moving parts. Because as we have our Actors Equity Association that we have to manage processes through and rule books through, they have their collective bargaining with their union that they have to work through. So trying to blend the two unions together and to get approvals on both sides is kind of a process, but Stephen's really handled all of that on their side to really make this a smooth transition. And I've got to tell you, with the musicians playing live, we got to hear it last night for the first time back there. And it gives you chills. Every single actor back there, it kind of raised everybody's spirits after a 12-hour day for us. And we were just all energized because there's nothing like live music. No. And with those incredibly competent and professional musicians doing what they do, it's stunning. The musical compositions as well Blake and I did a short film about 2 years ago, and we met these composers that did our film. And when we thought about this show, and Blake was talking about kind of the way that he was seeing the show, there was really nobody else that we thought was right for it, that we knew at least.
Right.
And when we talked to them, they were full in from the first call. They understood exactly what the vision was, and they've just been a dream to work with. And really, the Philharmonic was just kind of a dream
Partner,
come
really.
to life. Yeah.
Yeah, they're a partner really
Yeah.
in this. And I think that's the thing that a lot of people are sort of, it's easy to say, but I think a lot of people don't really grasp the importance of that for an organization in their second year. To have an organization that has 70 plus years of history and a sort of name that's as established as the Fresno Philharmonic, to approach us and say, you're the only other union house in town, you're doing excellent work, and we value that, we want to help support it. To us, that's like the highest praise we could get.
Absolutely.
And so, you know, obviously the process of putting those things together on the executive side, which I'm thankful I don't have to deal with because it's a lot of paperwork and I'm terrible at that. But I would say it's been such a blessing for us because you see all of these different elements coming into place and being put there by the people who know exactly how to make them work. And everybody is working like a well-oiled machine to make sure that we're serving the audience. And that's really the mission of our company.
Yeah.
And to see people join that mission is fantastic.
So the music that we're talking about, it's not incidental to the play.
No.
It's not just background.
No.
It's an essential part.
Absolutely. Yeah,
the
Shakespeare
show.
wrote a lot of plays that have music in them, and I think The Tempest is one that has perhaps the most. Ariel, who's the sort of a fiery spirit of the island in this story, sings a lot of his lines, and there are musical interludes that he conveys his message through. And what I wanted for this show was to have original songs no one had heard before, to have some sort of a unique musical language in which he speaks. And when I explained that to Tom Nettleship and Daisy Cool from our collaboration over Zoom, which was difficult because there's a big time difference from us to London, they got that right away, and they wanted to speak in as cinematic a language as possible. So they've built unique themes for different characters that follow them through the play, and there's a very beautiful piece that happens at the very end of this show that illustrates the joining and the dissection of a relationship based on musical theme. And so if you come and see this show and you listen carefully in the final moments of the show, there is a nugget, an Easter egg that they've dropped in there in the way you would find in a film. And it's absolutely stunning to hear played by these live musicians.
Well, hey, I would love to actually go into the theater and
Yeah.
just take a look at the set.
Well,
Do you
I think it's quiet in
do you
there, so
think
maybe we can
could
take a look.
Can we just sneak in?
Yeah, let's try.
Okay. I wanted to ask you about the seating capacity. You mentioned it was 20.
Well, it's a large
200.
theater.
It's
I
a
think
large
somewhere
theater.
around 2,200 seats, but we don't
What's
offer
the
all of
optimum,
those.
or how much do you offer?
We corner off some of the seats just to preserve excellent sight lines for everyone who comes to see the show. We want everyone to have the best possible experience. The way that we've designed this show is that it's best viewed from the floor level. So we took the balcony out of operation. We're putting a lot of lighting instruments in that area, and this is making it so that the ground floor is basically the best spot to view the play from. But there's also sort of these areas on the sides that we have taken out of circulation so that we're sort of funneling our audience into the middle for the best possible viewing window. And I'd say, you know, this theater, like I said, it seats probably close to 2,200, and we've narrowed it down to just over 800. And which is a significant shrinkage of our audience availability.
Right.
But we wanted people to sit close enough that they get the full picture of the entire proscenium arch and this beautiful theater and the incredible work that has been done.
Yeah, all
on
you have to
this
do is tilt your
ceiling.
head.
Exactly, and this is what I tell people, that the theater itself is a character in every play you do here. I mean, it's absolutely stunning. We wanted everybody who comes to see this show to be able to witness that. So we've limited our seating so that no one sits underneath the balcony either. So it limits a little bit of what the occupancy is here, but I think in a best possible scenario so that everyone gets a good seat. Does that make sense? I
Yeah,
hope so.
absolutely. So tell us about the set.
Well, the set was designed by, I mean, obviously local legend Joel Abels, who's been in the theater community here, you know, since time immemorial. He's a legend, absolutely. And we had him design this set. It's got this beautiful front apron that we had built out by Tarleton and Sons. They are one of our construction sponsors, and they built this extension over the classic pipe organ that's built into the Warners so that we can actually use this as a playing space. And then Joel had all of these other pieces that he built, and absolutely incredible detailed work. Some of these units are able to be like load bearing that people can sit or stand on. It's just incredible, this work that he's done. And then inside this piece is not done. You're seeing just a little bit of this. We probably shouldn't be showing you. But I will tell you that there's musicians that are going to be housed within this little area.
Okay.
So when you do come and see this show, it's not like the musicians will be out of sight. They're part of this production, which is important to me because I want people to know that there is a true collaboration. It's not just we hired them and they recorded it. They're in the show and you can see them playing this music live.
And there's just something special
Absolutely.
about live music.
Yeah, it's unlike anything else. You know, when you go see a musical, there is something that makes the hairs on the back of your neck stand up, right?
Yeah.
This is a little bit different because it's not a musical. Musicals are its own style. And I think, you know, as far as Shakespeare or classical theater is concerned, it's a different style. But when you add live music to that, you get a little bit of the best of both worlds. And I think that's a fantastic way to describe that what you're going to experience here. If you are a musical fan, you will love this. If you're a classical theater fan, you will love this. If you just like seeing live entertainment, you will love this. So for me, I think this is a huge step in the right direction for what theater can be in the Valley.
So I want to get Brandon in here for a sec. You're also in the show.
Yes.
What character do you
Yeah,
play?
I play Stefano, the drunken butler. Well, he gets drunk.
He's typecast.
I'll just let that one slide. and I know, like, you've done some interesting things with casting, and I'm intrigued by the relationship that you were telling me about between Prospera and Antonia.
Yes, normally those two roles in the play as originally written are played by males. But when you think of Prospero, you're essentially just writing the story of a marooned parent and his daughter. And I thought it would be, I mean, it's been done before. The Helen Mirren production that was directed by Julie Taymor, famously, she plays Prospera. And so when we knew that we were going to do the show with Jackie, we thought this is the perfect fit. I mean, I remember we were at a meeting with her and we were like, well, what do you think about this? And she, before we even finished the sentence, she's like, yes, I would love to do that. And that obviously made our day, made our year. And so she's doing incredible work in this show. And to accent that sort of dynamic a little bit more, we've taken the betrayer, which is normally Antonio, the brother of Prospero, and we have turned that into Antonia, the sister of Prospero. So we're getting, instead of a brother-brother rivalry, we're getting a sister-sister rivalry. And anyone who's ever had siblings knows that there's a rather different dynamic when that comes into play.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Antonia is played by
Tracy Hostmeyer.
Hostmeyer,
Yeah.
who is very well known
Very
to
well
all
known in
those,
the Valley. Yeah,
those
absolutely.
good company audiences,
Yep.
all the shows she's been in.
And I will say this, it's important to note that before I had cast anybody, I made sure to lock this guy down as Stefano. It is a very complex and difficult role in the comedic trio of this play. This play doesn't, a lot of people don't see this play as striking them as very funny, but I want people to know this play, one of the first productions was done at a wedding. It is a funny, lively play, and a big part of that is the trio of Stefano, Trinculo, and Caliban. And I couldn't think of casting this in any way without nailing down the best Stefano I could find. And that's obviously...
Thank you.
Well, I mean it. I wouldn't say that if it wasn't true.
He's my neighbor.
Yeah, right? But I will say the cast is absolutely phenomenal. I could not be happier with the team that we have put together. And the production team as well. They're top notch. But getting this group of actors together in this room has just been lightning in a bottle.
Oh, it's electric.
Yeah.
And the only thing that would make me happier is if I could be on stage with them. But I've often said this, I'm very, very jealous because the stuff they're doing, the chemistry that's been developed, and the energy that hits the stage every rehearsal is making me more and more jealous and itching to get back on the stage.
You know, we've been talking about the union aspect of this, and I know for a lot of people that doesn't really register
Right.
for them. But it's pretty rare to have union actors in Fresno. Very
it is.
occasionally, the touring musicals will bring in
Right.
an equity cast, but actually most of the shows that come
most
in
are
are
not.
not. What's different about that? What's different about having
Well, my opinion,
Actors' equity.
it's a twofold thing. One, when you join the union, you're making a commitment to deliver the best possible product that you can deliver as an actor. So when you join Actors Equity Association, you're considering yourself a professional. So you're devoting a certain amount of your life to perfecting that craft. You don't jump into a union thinking you'll never work again. You're wanting to work in theater professionally. And there are a lot of theater actors who work regional theater jobs across the country who are now vying to work on this stage in Fresno. And that is a fantastic thing. The other side of that coin is it demands excellence from our end as a company. We have to think about working conditions, working hours, and making sure that they're taken care of financially. Those two things coming together provide our audience with the best possible scenario.
It is such a busy day for you. Thank you for giving this opportunity. Tell us again, when does the show run?
The show opens April 24th and it runs through May 3rd. It's a very limited engagement, only 8 public performances. It's just those 2 weekends, but tickets are on sale right now at Ticketmaster.com, or you can go to ChanticleerShakes.com. And I encourage you to get your tickets because this show is not something you want to miss.
And you know, it's one of those things sometimes that you have to make a determined effort to go see. You just can't say, well, I might get around to it.
Right.
It's only 2 weekends.
Yeah.
And this is what you got to do to support professional theater.
Yeah, and this is something that has been putting Fresno on the map recently. I mean, I've seen a huge increase in visibility, not just in terms of our website, but in terms of other actors from other states wanting to come here and work. Fresno's making waves in the theater scene, and in order to keep that going, we have to keep the audience engaged.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, that wraps it up for this month's episode of the Munro Review on CMAC. Be sure to keep up online at MunroReview.com for previews, giveaways, profiles, reviews, and more. A big thank you to our volunteer crew, and a thank you to all of our guests. And for all of you, please keep exploring and supporting the local arts scene. We'll see you next time.